Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando. Joined here by my buddy Sean. We actually just got done shooting another cast, and I'm going to hit him hard and fast about what it was like to come into Flesh and Blood as a relatively established community. You came in around the Tales of Aria, Monarch Tales of Aria age.
Yeah.
So I am just going to kind of ping him hard and fast and ask about challenges and some other stuff maybe he'd like to see. What could have gone better, what could have gone worse, and we'll go from there. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Thanks for tuning back in again today. So this one is unscripted, unplanned. We had some time over, and it's gorgeous outside, sitting outside. So I figured we'd just shoot the S. So yeah, you came in, like we just talked about, between Monarch and Tales of Aria.
Yep.
What do you think was the largest challenge that you faced as a new player in a relatively established game?
So I started with Boltyn, which was really fun. And I still like Boltyn. I was playing the Raiden version of Boltyn. And it was a good time. I learned a lot. I would say probably the biggest challenges that I faced were just like not having access to all the cards. And because of that, and also probably maybe choosing the wrong deck to be competitive at the beginning, I would go to armories and I would, pay my $10 and I would lose all my games and go home with nothing. And it's like, well, not nothing because I got the promo, right?
Right.
But
and Travis, because you play to a lot at Distant Dice,
Yeah.
he usually does the pity pack.
Yeah,
right?
Travis hooked me up back when I was brand new. It's like, keep me around. Travis is great with new players, really, really supportive, and he'll give you cards. He actually just handed me Sabers one day. He was like, hey, try Sabers out instead of Raid. And I was like, okay, cool,
Sounds good.
Yeah, but, it was kind of a tough thing, and I will say my opponents, for the most part, were very good about, teaching me what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong and kind of helping me through turns while they were, beating me up. But it was kind of, I don't know, there was discussions I had at the beginning. It's like, why are people running these, busted decks at their, weekly meetup?
It's an excellent question.
And I mean, the answer was the promos are worth a lot of money,
right?
And the mats are worth. I mean, it's all relative, right?
Sure.
But the current thing that we have going right now, if you're doing the prescribed method of pricing, right? It's like everyone gets whatever the basic common is, and whoever gets the top slot gets 3 cold foils that go in a Prism deck that are worth $50 a piece.
Yeah, and to be clear, actually, the prescribed pricing is only the top 8 get the foils.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, I mean, and again, to be clear, it's all recommended.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why we do it. First through third get the foil. We split the foils, but it's all recommended. But yeah. I mean, if you were to go by exactly the recommendation, only the top 8 would get the intro foil, so you didn't even get that, right? So
yeah, and it's kind of a tricky piece, right? Because you have incentivized players to care about the game and be good at the game and try hard and be competitive, which is great because you're giving them awesome prizes to do the thing. But it's also doesn't really leave the door open for casual play unless you have something in place with your own group where you're just saying, we're just not going to bring Starvo so that the meta doesn't suck for the next 6 months or whatever.
It's a fair point.
But I would say that was for me entering the game the most difficult piece, and I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but like you could get tired of losing all the time, right? And I still mostly donate games when I go. But I'm there for a beer and a chat and have fun and sling cards with my buddies, so it's okay. Yeah. But I could see that being difficult mindset to get in for some other folks getting in.
Yeah, well, especially when, it is billed as being a competitive game.
Right.
And I do think the narrative's trying to shift on that a little bit, but, I mean, it's very clearly what it was billed as at the beginning, and you're looking at tournaments. I mean, that's all anybody really talks about generally on the social medias and stuff is, the 1,000 people punching each other in the face all weekend, right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah,
but
I would like to try
super
sometime.
Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. No, I think that's fair feedback. So how do you get past that? Because I mean, the armory prizes they're fantastic, right? I mean, it incentivizes stores to do the events. Mm-hmm. So how do you do it? Like because I don't know the answer.
I don't know. I've put quite a bit of thought into this, and I haven't come up with a correct response. I think the most recent idea that I had is is this a fix to do the thing, right? Is you remove the ability to really be head and shoulders above because of cards that you own. Mm-hmm. A couple 2 of your 4 armory weeks. So if you rotated all 4 formats, right? Mm-hmm. You did a commoner week, anyone can buy a commoner deck for $10. Mm-hmm. You're good. Get the most busted Chane that you can find and run, right? So that gives new players a equal footing on a material level, and then you're actually playing the game, and if you lose, it's probably because you drew bad or you aren't very good at the game yet, and that's okay. Right. Yeah. And then you do a limited at some point, and limited is more skill intensive, right? But everyone starts at a base level. It's you only get so many packs, and you pick stuff, and you go in, you made the best thing you could, and you might luck out and win, right? And then you have a competitive, card intensive night with Blitz and CC. Mm-hmm. So if you rotate all 4 of those formats through your armory, maybe you kind of solve that for at least half the time.
Yeah, true. I mean, the one thing there is that Commoner's not a armory format.
Oh, it is specifically the 2.
Yeah, so if because and this is actually in the gym. So well, at least last time I tried to add it, when you go in, because we were thinking about adding Commoner, but it's not it's a casual format. It's not. I mean, so are armories in general, but it's not a armory format, or at least last I checked, it was not.
Yeah, I mean, skirmishes are technically casual as well.
Right, and they're anything but, right, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess you'd be breaking the rules, but...
Yeah, I mean, but it's, again, that's one of the problems I as a TO have had is I agree. I think it's probably one of those, are we going to lose our ability to run armories in the future because we ran a commoner event? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. But at the minute that you're breaking the rules, right? Why is it okay to break one rule and not the other rule, especially when you're the TO and the judge, and then you're supposed to nail somebody for cheating? You know what I mean? So it's it's just you have to follow the rules, otherwise you run into problems, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was unaware of that, so that my solve is terrible. You heard it here first.
No, I mean, but I agree. It's just how do you, and because I do agree, but that's the challenge is there's a lot of people, even in the Portland, I think the Portland area is pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of the people. But a lot of those people will not come out unless there's $100 on the line or whatever.
Right.
Right. So how do you, because if you're hey, here's our commoner event and 3 dudes show up, the new player's not coming back.
Yeah. No, right? I mean, I showed up and... I think this is gonna. I'm not knocking Distant Dice in any way.
No, we love
Distant Dice. Yeah. Travis is the best, and Travis is always pushing formats nobody else's is. Right? He tried to get Ultimate Pit Fight off the ground, and it didn't really go. Fired it 2 times. He's got a 1:00 commoner listed every week. I've showed up twice for it. Nobody else showed up for it. And I was like, it's brand new. Why does no one want to play this thing, right? And then, but his Saturday is full. I mean, if you wanted to go there at 1:00 on a Saturday, you could play, theoretically, till close, because we're going to do 1 o'clock commoner, 3 o'clock CC, and then Blitz after if people are there to fire a Blitz tournament, which we've done several times. So it's cool, but the players aren't showing up.
Yeah,
and I don't know why necessarily, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it just that there's no armory prize on the? Because I mean, people chase points too, right?
Sure.
I mean, if there's no gem points for it,
there is gem points for it. So
it's like an on demand or whatever at one point or whatever.
Yeah, it would be on demand and a pack per win, which is
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, I think it's a great payout, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, what you guys switched over to at Gun Guy, I think is great too, where you show up, you pay your $10, you get 2 packs, and then you get promos as is appropriate, and I think that's good too.
Yeah, that's been something. That's what we used to do in the Destiny days, right?
Yep.
It was very new player welcoming, so I was glad that we were able to switch. Over to that.
Yeah. And even like, sorry, we got focused on pricing now, but I was going to talk briefly about like the ProQuest that Disendice did was great. Like we were talking, Travis is like, I'm just looking at numbers, trying to figure out what I can do for everybody. And like my match ended and I walked into the store because we were next door at a larger space so we could house more people. And, Travis looked up from the computer and he's like, hey, what do you think about like guaranteed 2 packs for everybody? Like whatever place you get priced out. It's like, oh yeah, that's awesome, because like if you
and the guys on the top don't care about more packs in general, right? I mean, sure they'll take them, but like
sure,
their day's not going to be ruined if they get 4 pack or 2 packs instead of 4 packs.
Yeah, and I definitely heard some people like low tables who had rough days that opened up some Majestic they were looking for, or like I think there was a couple legendaries that got pulled and there was trades happening like immediately. So it's that, I don't know, the potential to win big even when you lose is kind of neat.
But I mean you have to have, but you went to another event this weekend. We don't have to talk about where, right? But and it was not as good of an experience, right? So.
No, and it wasn't a good experience for a lot of reasons, and I won't get into a whole lot of it. But part of it was their prize pool was the kit that LS sent out, which is fine. And then they did store credit for top 8 only, and it was like, well, get good, or pay for everyone else's stuff. Yeah, like, which is fair, and I think that's fair more at a like Pro Tour type level than.
Well, I mean, it was a Pro Quest.
It's sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not defending them. I'm just playing the other side of the coin. Right?
Yeah, it's fair. So, but it felt bad to pay $35 and not have a opportunity at anything unless you like are elite at that level, right? And which our tournaments here are very strong. Like a lot of the players at the top tables, yesterday and on Saturday, have been to the Pro Tours and been to the Callings and plays very well, and they're ranked, in the top 50 nationally. And I mean, there's good. The card pool here is tough. Yeah. So
so, I mean, like you said, we got a little sidetracked on pricing, but I don't think we necessarily did, because it is relevant to, like you said, if somebody knew, I don't know why somebody new would go to the ProQuest, but like if you did and you walked away or you got your teeth kicked in with nothing, and a $35 in the hole, not to mention parking and all that, right?
Oh yeah, $12 in parking. Yeah. After the what's the thing called where they're like, thanks for shopping here?
Oh, the comp or
the validation.
Yeah. Either way,
got a game and a half validated.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't need to get hung up. But it is relevant, right? If people don't feel like they're getting their value, they're going to go somewhere else. I mean,
sure.
I don't think people expect to come in. Like if you're a new player and you come in and expect to win, you're wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going to have to take your. I mean, but I think most people accept that. But if it's a bad value lumps, that's a different story. So. Yeah. So I guess last thing then is, how would you? I mean, you have run events in the past, right, for other games. Yep. You're running the Commoner Crawl that we talked about last time. what do you do? What would be your ideal structure? How would you approach it if you're let's even go one step further. Let's say you're LSS and you're overhauling your, not to say that it needs overhauled, that's not what I'm saying, but
right.
You're overhauling your program to make Fab less competitive focus. How do you do it?
Man, that's a good one. I probably would shoot for like a once a month kit or something like that. Be like, hey, we get it. Everybody's here to play competitively, and that's the point. Mm-hmm. But like, we're going to play this month. Like this month, it's a draft, and it's this format, and whatever. And everyone's going to leave with a cool thing. Mm-hmm. Or it's commoner, and we're going to send you out whatever. I mean, people are stoked on cold foil tokens, right? Cold foil coppers I think they're worth $5, which is silly.
You gave me one, thank you.
Oh yeah,
much appreciated.
Yeah, you did
for my Kassai deck.
Yeah, you could make it to Skirmers, so I thought, you probably need one.
Yeah. So then the counter. So I could actually get on board with that, right? So there's a monthly kit, let's call it the monthly commoner kit. Whatever, right? So there's a monthly kit for that supports the unsupported new commoner format, or maybe it's UPF or whatever gets the kids their jollies, right?
Yeah.
But that's more money now that LSS is spending,
sure, sending
it out for free. So do you think then, if you're LSS, do you think that stores would buy that kit at $5? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you price at, right? But let's say $5 a head, right, is what the store would charge. The store wants their cut, and it's a kit that supports 16 people is usually what those kits support.
Sure.
Right? So would a store pay $30 for a once-a-month kit?
I think if the pricing was, like, good enough, they would absolutely do it. Because so that's the cost value thing, right? So, like, if there's 2 mats and, like, those are the top prices, and everybody else gets like random whatever and cold foil. Sure.
You're going to get. Let's say in this case you'd want to leave with 2 because it's a monthly event for new players. You want to leave with 2 promo cards.
Yeah, sure. That's
of
great.
Various foiling and whatever. Right.
Yeah. So if the prize pool is good enough that I can announce the event, and I can sell tickets at $10 a piece, I break even at 3 players. I would absolutely expect to get 8 or more players for an event like that. And so I broke even, I made money, I already have an employee there, it's happening, mm-hmm. right? So I'm paying for that. And then, I mean, how many weeks do you think, like, the folks at Gone Guy come in, they do just the $10, they play their games and they leave without purchasing a soda or a beer or like a board game or some kind of supplies for their thing? Like you get incidental sales just by getting people into your building.
Yeah. Well, right? Especially at a place like Gone Guy that sells beer now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the card gamers are gamblers, right? It's like, I'm gonna open 4 packs and support the store and see if I can win a legendary. Right. Right? Like,
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what it would cost LSS. Maybe $50, but so it changes your price point a little bit or your break point a little bit there. But no, that's interesting. I just don't want the expectation to be that, at some point LSS may start charging for armory kits.
Sure. I was surprised to hear that they didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up costing most stores a little bit because I think they have to pay like a couple bucks for like distribution shipping or something like that. Like
sure.
I think Gone Guy said it costs them don't quote me on this exactly, but I think they said it costs them a few bucks. But I mean, that's, drops in a bucket when you're making. Yeah. So, but still, it's not completely free. But I mean, LSS is still footing the bill for all of that, right?
Sure.
So
yeah, and I think. Provided that the events are new player friendly and new player accessible, right? If you convert any one new player at any event, it is dollars in your pocket, right? So, like, if the events are geared for that player to feel comfortable and come in and play with their friends and leave with something cool and feel good, and then, like, turn around and say, man, that was fun. Like, let me buy a box, right? a box sale is an immediate like cash in the pocket for the store and a restock from LSS, right? So like you could probably justify just calling it an advertising cost. It's a marketing thing, right? At least that's if it was me, that's how I would look at it if I was providing it for free. Watch out, bees.
Yeah, it was a bee. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I just don't know what their finances look. I mean,
oh yeah, no, for sure.
An armory kit, like there's 2 playmats in there.
Yep.
Like that's got to cost them money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Next interview we have with LSS, we can ask them.
Yeah. James, if you're listening.
So that's fair. So then what, let me flip the question, going back to the original question.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We asked, what were the challenges you faced as a new player?
Yeah.
What went well for you as a new player that made you decide that you wanted to do this? What were the, if you could think of a couple things that really made you say, you know what, this is for me, I really like this community. What was that?
Yeah.
What were those?
I thought, so it was several things really. It was, people initially out the gate being like, oh, you're doing this. I just opened this pack. I don't need this card. You need it for your deck. People just handing me stuff. Otherwise just being very helpful and like helping me learn the game and how it goes and like why a thing I did was good or not good and that kind of thing. But also just like the gameplay itself really like appeals to me. So like it's funny because I feel this way too about like I used to be a pretty good golfer. Now I'm not a very good golfer, but if I can go and I can play golf and I have a really great shot, I'm like, that was sweet. I'm going to come play golf again. Got it. So like the moments in the game that Flesh and Blood can cultivate where you have like a really awesome thing happen and like win or lose, you're like still talking about that at the end of the game. It's like, oh man, that combo turn was insane and like you almost got me, but then I got you, right? Like those kind of moments really resonated for me as a player and made me want to come back and keep going. Right. And, there was the coaching from, store owners and organizers and my opponents being like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, check out what happens. It's like, whoa, that's cool. I don't know if I answered the question.
No, I think you did. And it's kind of funny because it speaks to something I've been thinking about for another cast I've been working on, right? But we'll just pull the cord. I think what we don't do well as people, as humans, is we don't give positive feedback enough. Right? In that, to people, like you mentioned it several times, of people telling you what you did right. Yeah. Right? And I think that's a great, it's so easy for us to be like, oh, playing this wrong, take it back, do it this way. Yeah. You did this right, that was a good play, good job, right? And the importance of giving positive feedback, not just to other players, but positive feedback to the stores, because stores are going to look to make changes to improve things, and if you're not giving them positive feedback, they might change something that you like. Right. So positive feedback to players, positive feedback to stores.
Sure.
I don't know. I kind of went a little aside there, but it just reminded me of something I've been working on anyway. So
yeah, I absolutely think that's legitimate, and from a like player standpoint, after the game, if it was a good experience with my opponent, we talk about the game. It's like, hey, this happened. It's like, did you see this? Was that right? It's like, yeah, that was really good. You could have done this thing differently, and that would have affected the game in that way. Or like, at the end, be like, nope, you played everything right. Like, my deck just worked out better this time. Just like if you take the moment, especially with newer players, to like sit and discuss what just happened, it probably, or at least for me, it is very helpful, right?
Well, and it's community building, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't build a bond with the dude who, win or lose, grabs up his cards and walks away.
Right.
You don't build, and again, with the way that the majority of us interact with other people, we will actually zero in on that being a negative experience, and that may define our tournament. That may be the thing we tell our friends about that happened. But you're right, because sitting down and doing the post-game recap,
yeah,
especially if you lost, can sometimes be painful.
Yeah.
But it is a community-building activity, or a relationship-building activity, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's good feedback as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, remember that when you're sitting and playing with people. Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. That's kind of just a life thing, right? Like, take a moment, connect with someone, be kind, move forward.
Bah. It's easier to tell them they're wrong on the internet.
That is true, but you got to bring your keyboard to game night, and that's awkward.
Well, I can just play on TTS now. All right.
That's fair.
All right, well, I got to go pick up my kiddo, so let's wrap this up. But thanks for just the random chat. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If not, well, at least we did, and it's on the internet now. So thanks, Sean, for coming over, for sharing a beer with me, for having a chat. And thank you guys for tuning in. If nothing else, say it with me. Go Commando.
Yeah.